Hey guys, Curtis Alexander. In this video, I'm going to explain to you why I did intermittent fasting for a very long time and why I stopped. So I've done a number of videos about metabolism and diet and the journey I've kind of been on. So just to give you some quick background, I started down the low carb route because of some health conditions I was having. Probably 2004, I got deeper and deeper down that rabbit hole. I've done carnivore, keto, even vegetarian. I've done all these things, and I eventually settled on this extremely low carb diet for 10 plus years, doing intermittent fasting the whole time. So why stop? Let me explain a couple things about fasting. First of all, when people say intermittent fasting, they treat it like it's some sort of magic trick. It's not. What we're really talking about is time restricted feeding. Intermittent fasting is fasting intermittently, like you fast once a week or once every 10 days. Time restricted feeding is what most people are actually doing, where they're going, I'm not going to eat for 16 hours every day, and then I have an eating window each day and I'll eat in that time. That's what I was doing. um, First of all, the main focus of it is it does help people consume fewer calories. Okay, that's really what it's accomplishing. But the downside of that is when you consume fewer calories and you do it excessively and you do it for long periods of time, we run into issues. One of which I'll talk about in a second is my crashed metabolism. That became a huge issue. Now, I want to point out, I no longer do time restricted feeding or fasting on a regular basis. However, that doesn't make it bad. It actually can be a very good thing if you do it every once in a while. But I think it's, for most people, becomes bad when we focus on doing it every day, as it did for me. So let's hop into the metabolism thing. If you're ever wanting to read a study, go and read the Minnesota starvation experiment. They did this like shortly after World War II. Very interesting findings in it, but one of which, now granted, they crank their calories way back, but I'm approximately 6'2". When I was into my fasting stage, there were a lot of days I was eating 1,800 to 2,200 calories a day. That's not enough calories for somebody to my size. Particularly, it's not going to be enough nutrients because I was in my low carb craziness. So I wasn't getting some minerals and nutrients that I really need, along with consuming really low calories. So I eventually ran into metabolism problems. And that kind of leads into the next point, which is, during that time, I developed autoimmune issues. I developed Hashimoto's thyroiditis. And when you're not providing your thyroid with the carbohydrates that we discussed earlier, it will automatically go to a stress-based response to give you that glucose that you need, right? So when you're not feeding your body enough, it's going to crank back the metabolism. I developed these thyroid problems. I'm not blaming the constant fasting for the thyroid problems, but if you are somebody that has thyroid issues, I don't think fasting is a good thing. You need to probably go in the opposite direction. You need to provide your body with the bedrock, the nutrients that it needs, and train it back up into how to use those nutrients to fuel your thyroid, to fuel your metabolism. And it eventually got to the point that even at 1,800 calories a day, I was gaining weight. I mean, my body was just like holding on to anything it could. Okay. The other thing that I found is I became neurotic about food. It was like I had to be militant. And I think part of that was you're running on uh, a stress-based system most of the time. And that's the next point is I at least felt a little more stressed out during those times because my body again was going through that stress-based metabolism to give me the nutrients, to give me the energy I wasn't giving it. But it also made me neurotic about food. I was just like, well, I can't eat during this time. I have to do this, and it's just not a fun way to live. It got old after a while. And then finally, people will say, well, we have hormones. You have to think about as a man, your testosterone. If you fast, your testosterone will go up. That wasn't my experience. I've talked to other people, and the evidence is beginning, to come out that that's not the case. It's really not good for the hormones to be doing that constantly. Again, we go back to the Minnesota starvation experiment, the same thing. Men will often find their sex drive goes down. They find that they're not as driven. A lot of these things that testosterone gives us, we begin to see go away when we're on these sort of restrictive diets. So those are some reasons why I stopped it. I have no regrets about doing it. I have huge regrets about how long I did it. I will still maybe fast on occasion now that my metabolism is doing better. I don't feel that I'm totally fixed yet. Uh, and the other thing is, it messed my metabolism up so much that when I tried to go back to eating a regular diet, I gained a bunch of weight because I frankly ate too much. I was always thinking about food, and it was so nice to eat again. But my body didn't know how to handle it. I'm starting to reverse that now. I'm starting to lose that weight and get back to a healthy metabolism and a healthy way of looking at food. But overall, I just didn't find it a good experience. I wouldn't recommend it to most people unless it's done for a very short period of time. But mileage varies. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I just wanted to give you my experience, and hopefully some of this makes sense. So again, let me know in the comments, was this helpful? What's your experience been with fasting if you do it? And make sure, if you're looking for other more natural options to help yourself, go to the link in the description. I have a free checklist. I think you'll really enjoy that. I've gotten some good feedback on it. And again, let me know in the comments, guys. It's helpful for me, helpful for other people. I will see you in the next one. Thanks.